open. Blue aura engulfed him. Super Saiyan Blue Goku joined the fray. The balance of the fight was instantly shattered. The two strongest Saiyan warriors in the universe attacked a single target simultaneously. Goku struck from the left with light speed velocity. Vegeta attacked from the right with the force of thunder. The scene became chaotic and magnificent. The blue auras of the two Saiyans intertwined, crushing Cooler's cold purple aura between them. Energy explosions created a deadly display of fireworks. Every collision between their fists and Cooler's body sent shockwaves that cracked the earth, creating deep canyons stretching for kilometers across the wasteland. Goku landed a straight punch to Cooler's face, snapping his head back. Instantly, Vegeta followed up the space, currently being melted by the heat of the destroyer energy ball on Cooler's finger, was suddenly torn apart by a strange sound. It was not an explosion, but a sharp, snapping sound, as if reality itself had been bent and snapped back into place in a microsecond. Right in the vacuum of space between Cooler and the fallen Z-fighters, the air was suddenly displaced, creating a reverse gust that kicked up dust and sand. Two figures appeared out of nowhere. No spaceship, no roaring engines. Instant transmission. Son Goku and Vegeta had arrived. Their appearance brought with it a pressure entirely different from what came before. If Cooler was a dark typhoon, these two Saiyans were towering lighthouses standing firm amidst a raging sea. Vegeta stood upright, his white boots stomping firmly onto the cracked earth. His sharp gaze swept across the desolate scene. Gohan collapsed, Piccolo unconscious, and the enemy standing there with arrogant poise. Vegeta narrowed his eyes. Memories of his days conquering the universe under the Frieza force flooding back. He recognized the being before him, not by his shape, but by the bone-chilling aura specific to the cold lineage. Cooler, Vegeta growled. The name spat out like a curse. I thought you had rotted away in the northern fringes of the galaxy. Cooler lowered his finger. The sphere of energy shrank and dissolved into his palm. He looked at the newcomers, his crimson eyes showing no surprise. Only a malicious amusement, Vegeta. Cooler replied, his deep voice resonating, the Prince of Monkeys. And you? Son Goku. Finally, you decided to crawl out of your hole. He took a step forward, his long tail flicking lightly, shattering a boulder beside him. Do not compare me to Frieza. My little brother was too arrogant, relying solely on his innate power while remaining lazy. But he clenched his fist, the sound of knuckles cracking echoing like gunshots. I am always watching. I am always training. I have conquered the darkest corners of the universe to forge myself into the perfect weapon, perfect or not. Today you will be buried here. Vegeta wasted no second on meaningless pleasantries. His scream tore through the atmosphere. A pillar of blue light exploded, enveloping his body. His spiky black hair shifted to a brilliant cyan. The aura of Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, rolled off him. Turbulent, yet calm as a still lake, concealing the destructive power within. Vegeta launched himself forward. His speed was so immense that his afterimage remained standing in place while his real fist was already inches from Cooler's face. There was no warm-up, no probing. This was an attack with the intent to kill instantly. The ground beneath them collapsed into a crater 3 meters deep. But Cooler was not sent flying. He had raised a single arm, his open palm catching the God Ki-infused punch of Vegeta perfectly. His gaze remained terrifyingly calm. Fast. Cooler remarked coldly. Immediately, Vegeta spun, delivering a hook kick aimed at Cooler's temple. But Cooler, with an uncanny fluidity distinct from Frieza's brawling style, tilted his head to dodge by a millimeter. He used his wrist to parry Vegeta's leg aside, simultaneously spinning to drive a reverse elbow into Vegeta's chest. Vegeta took the hit, skidding back a few steps, but instantly regaining his balance. He roared, charging back in to unleash a high-speed barrage of punches and kicks. Boom, boom, boom. Sonic booms rang out continuously across the sky as the two energy sources clashed. Cooler, even in his fourth form, maintained an astonishing level of composure. He utilized superior martial arts techniques, parrying, joint locking, and force redirection. He wasn't just strong, he was a master combatant. Every one of Vegeta's strikes was neutralized or dodged with minimal movement. Kakarot. "What are you standing there for?" Vegeta shouted while locked in a test of strength with Cooler. Goku, having observed enough to understand their opponent, nodded solemnly. "He's not like Frieza. His technique is highly advanced." Goku closed his eyes, then snapped them open. Blue aura engulfed him. Super Saiyan Blue Goku joined the fray. The balance of the fight was instantly shattered. The two strongest Saiyan warriors in the universe attacked a single target simultaneously. Goku struck from the left with light speed velocity. Vegeta attacked from the right with the force of thunder. The scene became chaotic and magnificent. The blue auras of the two Saiyans intertwined, crushing Cooler's cold purple aura between them. Energy explosions created a deadly display of fireworks. Every collision between their fists and Cooler's body sent shockwaves that cracked the earth, creating deep canyons stretching for kilometers across the wasteland. Goku landed a straight punch to Cooler's face, snapping his head back. Instantly, Vegeta followed up with a full power kick to the ribs. The sickening sound of cracking bone rang out. Cooler was blasted away, skidding across the ground, plowing through a small hill before coming to a stop. He scrambled to his feet, wiping a streak of purple blood from the corner of his mouth. For the first time, his mask of composure cracked. But instead of anger, he laughed, a guttural chuckle that shook his chest. "Excellent." Cooler spat a mouthful of blood onto the ground. His eyes flashed with madness. "You monkeys actually caused me pain. It has been a long time since I felt my blood boil like this." He stood to his full height, spreading his arms as if to embrace the sky. "You are worthy. Worthy to witness the true face of terror. Something even Frieza never managed to achieve." The air around Cooler began to twist. Gravity shifted abruptly, causing rocks and debris to float into the air. Cooler. It sounded like a primordial monster tearing itself out of a shell. The camera focused on a visceral, body horror-style transformation sequence. Sickening, cracking sounds echoed. Cooler's muscles swelled, tearing through his old skin. Sharp spikes erupted from his shoulders and forearms, piercing through his biological shell. His skull morphed, elongating backward into a crown fit for a demon king. The white armor on his chest fractured, restructuring into a thicker, harder carapace that shone like diamond. Most notably, his face changed. His signature mouthguard slid down, completely covering his mouth, leaving only his crimson eyes visible, eyes now devoid of pupils. His height skyrocketed to 3 meters, towering like a spire of flesh and steel. The aura around him was no longer fiery but became dense and dark, like a black hole. Cooler final form was complete. Goku and Vegeta stared wide-eyed. The pressure from this new monster made them feel suffocated. Even in Super Saiyan Blue, his ki. "It's completely changed," Goku whispered, sweat pouring down his face. Before the sentence was finished, Cooler's image vanished. Not just moving fast, he disappeared entirely from sight. Vegeta's eyes rolled back. A massive hand, armored like cold steel, had gripped his face from behind. Cooler had appeared directly behind Vegeta without displacing a single whisper of wind. Too slow. Cooler's voice now echoed through the mask, metallic and distorted like the Grim Reaper. He slammed Vegeta's head into the ground. Boom! The entire area shook like a magnitude 10 earthquake. But he didn't stop. Cooler, gripping Vegeta's head, flew just above the ground at supersonic speed, dragging the Saiyan Prince's face through a range of rocky mountains. Even solid granite crumbled upon contact with Vegeta's skull. Blood and dust mixed to create a horrifying trail. Vegeta Goku screamed, instantly launching himself to the rescue. He gathered ki in his palms, blue light flaring blindingly. Came, Haim, Trow, Trow. A massive beam of energy fired, aimed straight at Cooler to force him to release Vegeta. The power of this Kamehameha was enough to vaporize a small planet, but Cooler didn't dodge. He didn't even let go of Vegeta. He turned, facing the oncoming destructive energy head-on. With his free arm, he punched straight into the core of the Kamehameha. An absurd scene unfolded. Cooler's bare hand tore through Goku's energy beam like ripping a thin sheet of fabric. He swam through the energy wave, his massive body parting the stream to both sides, completely unharmed. Goku's eyes widened in horror. Before he could react, Cooler's giant fist magnified in his vision. Wham! A catastrophic punch landed squarely in Goku's gut. Goku's eyes bulged, his breath cut off. The force of the punch was so immense it created a shockwave that blew away clouds across the entire hemisphere. Goku was launched straight up, piercing through the cloud layers, flying high into the freezing stratosphere. The camera switched to Goku's point of view. The world spun. The wind roared in his ears. The blue sky fading into the black of space. Earth shrinking below. The agonizing pain blurred his vision. Back on the ground, Cooler tossed Vegeta's tattered body aside like a bag of trash. Vegeta rolled across the dirt, lying face up. Blood poured down his forehead, blinding one eye. His battle armor was shattered, revealing a body covered in wounds. Cooler stepped closer, his gigantic shadow looming over Vegeta, Prince of Saiyans. In the end, it is just a hollow title for a lower life form. He raised his foot, preparing to crush Vegeta's skull. That insult acted like a needle piercing straight into Vegeta's sky-high pride. In the midst of excruciating pain and utter humiliation, something inside Vegeta snapped. It wasn't despair. It was pure, unadulterated rage. A craving for power that transcended the limits of life and death. Who, did you say, is a lower life form? Vegeta's voice was hoarse but carried a deadly edge. He pushed himself up, struggling to stand. Blood from his forehead dripped into his eye. But that eye suddenly flared with a ghostly purple light. A dark purple aura, fiery and chaotic, began to rise from Vegeta's body. It wasn't like the ki of a Super Saiyan. It resembled the flames of hell. Small pebbles around Vegeta weren't blown away. They disintegrated into nothingness upon touching this aura. Vegeta lifted his head. His hair shifted to a deep violet. His eyebrows disappeared, making his face look more savage and primal than ever before. The flame-like purple aura engulfed him, radiating the pressure of a god of destruction. Ultra Ego had been activated. Cooler took a step back, sensing a genuine threat. What in the world is this? The key of a destroyer. Vegeta laughed. A maniacal, crazed laugh, filled with the satisfaction of a warrior finding a true battlefield. He wiped the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. The more I hurt, the stronger I become. This is power born from destruction. Vegeta charged at Cooler. This time, he didn't use speed to dodge. He lunged in like a rabid beast. Cooler threw a punch. Vegeta didn't block. He took the punch straight to the face, blood spraying, but his head didn't snap back. Instead, he glared at Cooler, his grin widening. He grabbed Cooler's wrist and delivered a massive headbutt. Cooler's mask cracked. The cosmic tyrant staggered back. Vegeta gave him no respite. He charged, punching, kicking, clawing, tearing. Vegeta's fighting style was now completely feral, abandoning form for killer instinct and a thirst for mutual destruction. Every punch Cooler landed on Vegeta dented his chest. But a second later, the purple ki flared stronger, and Vegeta's counterattack became heavier. Cooler began to feel fear. He was fighting a madman, someone who treated damage as fuel. Die. Die. Die, Vegeta screamed, each shout accompanied by a Hakai, destruction, strike, shattering pieces of Cooler's bio-armor. However, Cooler was not a novice warrior. He was a ruthless and cunning conqueror. While being backed into a corner, his mind calculated coldly. He He realized the weakness of this form. Vegeta was destroying his own body faster than he could recover. He needed a fatal blow, not through power, but through guile. As Vegeta lunged for a finishing strike, Cooler suddenly ducked, using his long, python-like tail to wrap tightly around Vegeta's neck, strangling him. Vegeta gagged, his hands clawing at the tail. "You are strong," Saiyan Cooler whispered into Vegeta's ear from behind. But power without a brain is just a waste. From the exhaust vents on Cooler's shoulder armor, a pale green mist sprayed out, enveloping Vegeta's head. This was no ordinary gas. It was a potent neurotoxin extracted from the deadliest creatures in the universe Cooler had conquered. Vegeta inhaled the gas. Instantly, his nervous system shut down. The pain vanished, replaced by numbness. His limbs went limp, control lost. The Ultra Ego aura flickered and snuffed out like a candle in the wind. His purple hair returned to black. "It is over," Cooler declared coldly. He whipped his tail, flinging Vegeta's motionless body into the dark abyss of a deep canyon below the cliff, where shadows swallowed the last hope of the Z-fighters on the ground. Cooler stood at the edge of the precipice, looking down, panting slightly, but his eyes remained filled with disdain. He looked up at the sky, where Goku was beginning to fall back down from the stratosphere. Now, for the other one.